Howard Cosell, one of the most iconic and polarizing figures in the history of sports broadcasting, was fired immediately after uttering a comment that sent shockwaves through the television world and ignited a firestorm of controversy that ultimately ended his storied career in an instant. Known for his distinctive voice, unapologetic opinions, and trailblazing work on Monday Night Football, Cosell had built a reputation as a fearless commentator who never shied away from speaking his mind, no matter how controversial or unpopular his views might be. But in one unscripted moment during a live broadcast in the early 1980s, Cosell made a remark that many perceived as racially insensitive, something that even his decades of experience, credibility, and trailblazing civil rights advocacy couldn't protect him from. The incident occurred during a game when a young African-American player made an impressive play, darting across the field with electrifying speed. In the heat of commentary, Cosell remarked, "Look at that little monkey run," a phrase that would instantly haunt him and spark a wave of public outrage. Although Cosell had previously used similar language to describe his own grandchildren and even white athletes with affection, and although many close to him insisted the comment was never intended as racially charged, the timing and context proved fatal. Civil rights activists, viewers, and media outlets erupted in condemnation, accusing Cosell of casual racism and demanding accountability. Within hours, calls for his resignation flooded the network. ABC, the broadcasting giant that had stood by Cosell through decades of both admiration and criticism, was forced into crisis mode. Despite Cosell's public statement explaining his intent and pointing to a long record of supporting African-American athletes, including his legendary defense of Muhammad Ali and his role in elevating black voices in sports, he was swiftly removed from his role on Monday Night Football. The network, eager to avoid further backlash, made the decision abruptly, signaling the end of an era in sports media. The fallout was swift and brutal. Cosell, who had once been a towering figure in sports journalism, suddenly found himself ostracized and shunned by an industry he had helped shape. The man who once stood shoulder to shoulder with legends like Ali, who dared to speak uncomfortable truths in a world of sanitized sports commentary, had been undone by a single sentence. Cosell's firing marked a turning point not just for his career, but for the conversation around race, language, and accountability in broadcasting. While some continued to defend him, arguing that intent mattered and context was being ignored, others saw it as a necessary reckoning for a media landscape that had too often excused insensitivity under the guise of charisma. In the years that followed, Cosell would largely retreat from the public eye, offering occasional reflections on the incident but never fully returning to the spotlight. He remained adamant that his comment had been misunderstood, yet acknowledged the hurt it caused. "I never meant harm," he said in a rare interview, "but I accept that harm was felt. It was a sobering end to a career built on speaking boldly and without fear." Howard Cosell's firing served as a reminder of the power of words and the cost of crossing a line, even unintentionally, when the world is listening.